In July 2024, a severe storm brought 3 months of rain in just 24 hours to the city of Jelgava, the capital of Zemgale region in Latvia.
We didn't have electricity for 2 days.
Pilsētā lietus ūdeņu augstums bija pat līdz metram.
Situated between the three rivers Lielupe, Driksa and Sveta, Jelgava is frequently confronted with floods due to high river levels during winter and springtime. But recently, the situation has been changing.
What is increasing in force, this is flooding events from heavy rainfalls during summer months.
Jelgava is just one example of many across the Zemgale area. There is a need for strategic adaptation, raising one question: how can Zemgale's communities become more weather ready? The Zemgale region, located in central Latvia and covering nearly 17% of the country, is frequently affected by spring floods. This vulnerability is due to the region's low-lying terrain and dense river network. Key factors typically include rapid snowmelt from rising temperatures, frozen or partially thawed soils limiting water absorption, and ice jams blocking river flow and triggering sudden downstream surges. However, with milder winters and hotter summers, these patterns are starting to shift.
If earlier there was a snow and ice cover at this time of a year, then today we see that water is free.
Ingrid Bremere from the Baltic Environmental Forum carefully observes the changing causes of flooding.
Temperature is also rising, our summers are getting hotter, and what it means that there is a room for accumulation of moisture in atmosphere, and this could end up with heavy rainfalls like we experienced last year here.
In summer 2024, heavy and sudden rainfall caused a massive flood that overwhelmed the city's drainage system. This infrastructure is managed by Jelgava State City Municipality.
The lowest parts of the city can be flooded, maybe 70 centimeters. It's all underwater. And it means flooded streets, flooded houses, basement.
Together with the experts from the Baltic Environmental Forum, Martiņš Kazanskis analyzes the causes and consequences of flooding to develop new strategies for the future.
This is a new situation because our systems are ready to take precipitation for 20-30 millimeters a day, not 200 or 300.
The city's drainage system comprises a network of main ditches, channels and stormwater sewers that primarily operate by gravity. If needed, pumps function as an overflow safeguard. Yet, if there is too much water, these systems can become overloaded.
One of our pump stations was cut off because there was no electricity.
With water all around them for a couple of days, the people of Jelgava city found themselves in a difficult situation.
Those people who have electrical stoves, they couldn't cook food for 2 days. So they had to find different solutions.
One important way to cope with the effects of flooding is through a strong community of neighbours supporting one another. However, while social networks offer emotional and practical help, they can't cover the financial impact of damaged property.
Tātad zaudējumi bija vairāk kā 13 miljoni, 7 miljoni bija radušies iedzīvotājiem, bojājot viņu īpašumus, un 6 miljoni ir bojājot pašvaldības īpašumus, starp kuriem ir gan skolas, gan citas pašvaldības iestādes.
With rising costs and a changing climate, new levels of adaptation are needed. Within the EU-funded project Impetus, the Baltic Environmental Forum, the Zemgale Planning Region and the Jelgava Digital Centre are developing a modern, proactive strategy to meet these challenges.
fact, we are preparing 2 demonstration tasks. One is related to Zemgale Regional Climate Change Adaptation Plan, and another one is developing of early warning system for floods on a regional scale.
The Climate Change Adaptation Plan is a guideline for community and stakeholder planning processes, which can be modified according to their needs. The plan's first step is background analysis, which evaluates EU-wide experiences with climate impacts. Then a regional analysis identifies local priorities and challenges. Based on this, a central vision is developed to guide the planning process and define the long-term direction. An important milestone is plan development, where clear goals and measures are set. Ingrida Bremere explains what this means.
So let's say one would be so-called structural measures, like for example, upgrading of rainwater collection infrastructure or developing and erecting new basins.
While some measures, like upgrading water infrastructure, can be costly, there are also more affordable, nature-based solutions, such as restoring wetlands. But to have a real impact, local actions must be coordinated within a broader national strategy. The Zemgale planning region plays an important role, connecting local municipalities with national institutions in shaping and delivering the Climate Change Adaptation Plan.
My idea is that we need synchronize our planning document system with national level, with ministries. Adaptation plan in impetus could help as basic for big regional climate plan.
Yet one key element had been missing, the involvement of citizens. To address this, the Jelgava Digital Centre introduced an early warning system, an easy-to-use web application that helps residents stay informed about potential flood events, right from their phones.
The new function that is developing during this impetus project is prediction, forecasting function for flood risks. So previously we informed our citizens only when the danger was already there. But right now we can predict these floods around 1-2 days before they're actually coming.
At the core of the early warning system is the HEC-RAS model, a powerful tool for simulating flood scenarios using weather forecast data. The system maps out potential flood zones and overlays them with cadastral data, the exact locations of homes and properties. By comparing these layers, it sees if rising water levels could reach residential areas. Once the model predicts potential flooding in a certain area, trained specialists step in to assess the situation.
Tātad mēs saņemam brīdinājumu, un pēc šī brīdinājuma dodamies uz šo notikumu vietu, apsakot un pārliecināties, kāda ir situācija tieši šajā vietā.
The specialists determine whether the situation poses no real danger or if the risk is serious enough to warn the public.
Tad ar dronu mēs apsakojam apdraudētās teritorijas un dodu operatīvas fotofiksācijas video priekš civilās aizsardzības komisijas, lai jau varētu pieņemt lēmumus cilvēku evakuācijai vai apziņošanai.
To receive alerts, citizens simply register in the system and select up to 3 locations they want to monitor, like their home, their child's school, or their workplace. This targeted approach ensures that alerts are timely, accurate, and reach the people who need them most, helping communities prepare before the water arrives. The generated flood data is being stored for future use. This allows experts to analyze how often floods occur, which areas are most affected, and to identify long-term trends.
It is clear climate change will go on, so we will have to adapt also our climate change adaptation plan. Maybe there will come new measures to implement, and this will go on.
With Zemgale's water system constantly evolving, staying prepared for ongoing climate adaptation is key to building future resilience.